Poc Chuc, one of the 2 or 3 most relevant dishes of the entire Maya Peninsula, down in the Riviera Maya, from Cancun down to Tulum. Corn, salsa, that citrus and smoke-kissed marinated pork, the beans. Let's put this plate together, shall we? So step 1, marinate our pork. Step 2, soak our black beans in water overnight. So for the pork, orange juice, lime juice, equal parts. I need about 1/3 of a cup of each. Then just a little bit of white vinegar, maybe a touch of sugar, and my spice mixture. Now this is annatto seed and mustard seed ground up, oregano, dried guajillo chilies. The list is in the recipe, or you can just find a nice Mexican Sazon, or even my Mexican seasoning from Badia would work, but you just want to marinate that pork overnight in that mixture. I have an extra garlic clove from another recipe. I'm just going to smash that and throw that into the liquid as well. So I've got this liquid seasoning of orange juice, lime juice, a little bit of white vinegar, my spice mix, and some garlic. And I'm just gonna let it sit like that for 20 minutes, 30 minutes so the garlic blooms. I have about 2 pounds of thinly sliced, beautiful species-specific pork that has some really nice marbling in there. If you're shopping at a supermarket, well, when I'm shopping at a supermarket, I use pork shoulder. And I cut it 1/4 inch thick. But here I have this beautiful pork. This is Minnesota Duroc pork from a farm. And you know where I get it? I get it at my local Asian market. It's $5 a pound, and it's 5 times the quality. If you notice, my pork here is sitting outside of the liquid, but that's why I just get my hands in there and start mixing it up. You just want full contact. You don't need tons of marinade, right? You just need enough to cover. I'm gonna wind up putting this in a Ziploc bag, but I wanna make sure that all the pork comes in contact with that marinade. And we let that sit for 24 hours. All right, another bowl. My black beans. I pick through them twice. Once before I add water, just to make sure there's no stones or anything that doesn't belong in there. Looks good to me. Then I'm gonna cover it with water, and we'll see if any nasty ones like that one definitely would have floated up to the top. But if they float up to the top, sometimes they're cracked or not good. So you just want to make sure that you have a nice bunch of black beans. We'll let that soak 24 hours in water overnight. Room temperature water, 3 inches over where the beans are. No floaters. Put a lid on this, put that in the fridge. So along with my beans and my pork, and ultimately a couple of other things on the plate, I love to have some pickled onions, but I don't want to do it with just vinegar. So I want to do it with that same mixture of orange juice, lime juice. I'm going to throw in a habanero chili because I want that pickling liquid to be hot. And when I say pickling liquid, yeah, we're gonna pickle some red onions really fast, let it sit in the refrigerator for 3-4 hours. That acid will penetrate those onions, they'll be delicious. So that's next. So when I'm cutting a pepper like this, I don't wanna get it all over my fingers. I also don't wanna put on gloves or anything just to cut one chili. So all I do is I hold on to the stem, place my knife on top of it, cut it in half. You want it a little spicier? Cut it in quarters. You want it really spicy? Mince it. But I don't want anyone eating any of these pieces by accident. So I'm not gonna mince it. I'm just gonna quarter it, place it right in the lime juice. So I've got the juice of 3 or 4 oranges, the juice of a lime, a habanero. I'm going to add a little of white vinegar just to increase the acidity in there, replicate that sour orange vibe. And then we cut our onion. Cut the ends off, cut it in half. After this has been in here for a couple of hours, you're gonna be able to stick a whole other onion in there because these onions will start to wilt. Put a lid on that, stick it in the fridge, 4 to 6 hours. Works really, really, really well. All right, let's cook our beans. Remember, we had 3 inches of water, 3 inches above the beans. Literally, the beans have absorbed almost all of the water. We're gonna drain these and get these going with a little bit of onion and garlic. Really, really, really simple. We're not making a flavored bean. We're making a very, very simple bean. Cinnamon leaf, or a couple of bay leaves, whatever you had. Throw those into a pot. I have another habanero here. I'm going to cut it in half without cutting all the way through. You're gonna open it up like a flower so that all of that heat can get out as these beans cook for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna throw that into the pot. Onion. And with the onion, what I wanna do is just cut it into 6ths. Put that into the pot. Garlic. Just keep smashing cloves like this and add them to the pot. I usually put about 5 or 6. I love making, there's nothing better than making a pot of beans. I don't know what is more delicious than a simple pot of black beans. Add our beans. I drain the water away. And then we're just gonna cover this with water, just about, I don't know, 1/4 inch above those black beans, and simmer them covered for an hour and a half. Oh, I forgot. I do like to put a little oregano in there. These are oregano flower buds. I'm just smashing them with my hand. All right, this is 1 quart of water, and it basically is just enough to cover them. We're gonna turn that on to bring it to a simmer and put a lid on that. We'll keep checking them. We want these to simmer, but with the lid on, we'll retain a lot of that liquid and we'll have beautiful black beans. So the beans are simmering, easiest thing in the world. Just throw a little lid on it, lower the heat, and let it cook for an hour and a half is usually about perfect, but I'll check them after an hour. Okay, so the beans have cooked. They're perfectly tender. And then just, kind of mash with a spoon against the side so that you kind of thicken that up, but you don't, like 1/3 of the beans against the side of the pot. Give it a little stir and look what happens. Beans, pickled onions. I made some rice. But what defines this dish is this incredible marinated pork that has soaked up so much of that orange and all of those seasonings. All I want to do is drain a little bit of that liquid. There's not much, right? I mean, there's not much, but I want to drain a little bit of it. I want to toss a little oil in there, and we're just going to touch these pieces on the grill. You don't want to cook them too long. They'll just dry out. They're thin slices. Just touch them on the grill. Minute on each side. Just get a little char. High direct heat. We'll cook these, bring them in, then we'll eat. We're just gonna lay these slices down as best I can. I have a little bit of rice on my plate. Any kind will do. It's summer. This is the first of the summer corn from the state of Georgia. It's pretty darn good. So I just grilled a little. I've got my beans. I just season them with a little bit of salt and a little bit of cilantro. Now let's take a few slices of this citrus and spice marinated pork. Put a little lime wedge on there for garnish. I've got a little bit of tomato salsa. It's just tomato, onion, cilantro, some chilies. Remember these? Marinated in that same sour orange. Don't skimp on that, please. This right here is what this is all about. Want to throw some tortillas on there? By all means, go ahead. Let's take a look at this, huh? Heaven. Despite the dogs fighting upstairs, I could not be more proud of this dish. And how does it all taste? Well, you know, wrapped up in a little tortilla. All the flavors of the Riviera Maya on a plate.